Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know you guys just saw that disturbing video, and I really have a lot to say, so I'm going to condense it as best as I can. I have to speak from a variety of places, and one of those places is as a teacher, as a mom, and as a member of the school system, and as a black woman. Actually, it's it's so weird. As a teacher, first we call home, and the teacher called home because the mom said, in her little rant, she said her son threatened the teacher life. And she's raising a little black boy, and that little black boy threatening a teacher's life is not acceptable. And we do not understand, because we are not a black woman raising a little black boy. And as a teacher, when we call home, we really want the behavior of what happened to be dealt with, but sometimes it becomes too much. And I was having this discussion with my husband about, well, what is too much? And there's a lot to be said about where that line is drawn, and I really do not know what is too much, to be honest with you. But I can say that with eyes on the outside looking in, what we just saw in that video was too much. The biggest thing I have learned with discipline is not to discipline in that moment that you are at heightened mad or heightened attention to a situation, or just feeling that aggressive. All of us know when you are like, ooh, like when you have that aggressive tension, and your kids are just aggravating you, or something that they did is just really makes you want to feel some type of way. That is the worst time to discipline. I had to learn that. I had to understand that, because most whippings that I have received, or that I have seen anyone in my family receive, was in the moment of aggression. And it just come off, oh my God, they didn't get whippings like this when we was young, because it was so aggressive. The behavior sometimes didn't even match the aggressiveness of the whipping. And I just feel like it is a level or a line, and no one really know when they cross the line. But I can almost reassure you, if you are disciplining with a whipping in the heat of an aggressive feeling, in the heat of an aggressive moment, you probably will do too much. I think that if I come from the teacher's perspective, watching and sitting there and getting him to be whipped in front of her, right? And then the little boy apologized or whatever, and his mom doing all of that, she immediately felt remorse. I'm sure she didn't want it to go as far, but you cannot determine what will happen. If that lady sit there and laugh at that, she's weird, she's sadistic, she has a problem. There's no one that shall watch that little kid, think he's 6 or 7, that little kid get his whipping in public like that, in front of the other adults, in front of people, and think that, oh, that was something to laugh about. So I feel like it's just, it goes with understanding that discipline has different facets. You have discipline that people administer verbally. There's discipline that people administer by taking things away, positive, negative reinforcement. Some people still spanking and whipping and threatening their kids and stuff like that. So I'm not naive. I'm going to turn my heater off. I'm not naive to say that it's not happening. I'm saying that if you're going to do that amount of disciplining, tone it down and take it home. Tone it down and take it home doesn't mean go tone it down and give him that same whipping at home. It means tone it down and take it home to discuss what's going on and not sit there and cause more damage. Because I don't even think parents be thinking about how much you just embarrassed that little boy whole life. Like, people will forever, and it went viral. So people will forever remember that one whipping. But guess what? Guess what comes with that? It's a package. And we as parents have to understand the package that is set up. Anxiety, social bullying, behavior from other students that understand what just happened to you. So they will be frustrated and angry a lot at school. So what we initially went there for, him disrespecting the teacher and saying, he a killer and getting mad and all of that stuff. Imagine, because he said that to her, imagine a whole school of kids who mom saw it. These kids seen it probably because everybody on social media, and it went viral. So imagine the amount of students that he will have to fight off. How aggressive he actually will become because of the aggression you just showed and displayed in front of the whole school. He more than likely will be bullied. He's going to get angry, and he's going to get mad, and he's going to probably say, I'm going to kill you too. Someone else. It's a package. She's saying she's okay with going to jail because y'all, some of y'all doing this in front of your kids and doing that in front of your kids or whatever. But I feel justified by it because nobody going to tell me how to raise my kids. And I understand that everybody feel like they are equipped to raise their kids. But sometimes we have to understand what the repercussions of what we feel is right, what we feel like we should be doing in those moments, and think outside. That's why it's not good to discipline in that moment, because you have to think about outside of that moment, how would this kid feel on his good days, going to school, and then somebody remind him of that day, and it take him way back to that emotion, and it make him feel a certain type of way, and that can be from now until whoever knows. We have to be careful. As an administrator, I don't know what type of rules they have or whatever, but we do not have parents just walking through the building at any foreseen moment looking for their kids so they can deal with their kid. It's normally in an office, in a safe environment. They get to talk to their kids and, get them to calm down or whatever. But the way she walked through that cafeteria and then yanked him out of that cafeteria to go meet that teacher, no, she would have to get out of my building. If I was administrator, she would have to get out of my building, period. No. He would have been called to the office. She would have met him in the office, and we would have had a discussion about his behavior. And then she would have been free to check out her kid. And by that time, hopefully she would have calmed down. Because like I said, even in those moments, we do not want them to get abused. And like I said, there's a fine line between what others see as abuse and what others see as discipline or physical discipline. And physical discipline is really to have your kids, because all her kids was actually subsequently removed from her home. And discipline is subject to those who watching. It's subject to those who view you doing your physical discipline. Some of us have verbal discipline, and it's not as, I'm going to call child protective services because you just told your kid explicit words and stuff like that. But seeing someone physically get whipped with a belt, I take it that was a belt, and just seeing them get whipped, that can trigger anybody to say, oh my God, that is too much. So I am not a proponent of public physical discipline. I'm not. I do have a 5-year-old daughter, and I will pull her to the side. I'll tell her in her face, I'm like, okay, you need to adjust your behavior, whatever. You go sit down. I'll remove her from from where I'm at, and I calm down. Then I talk to her later. But I am not a proponent of that. And yes, I do have a little girl, and it may be different for other people dealing with girls and boys. I don't know, but I can just say as a Black woman that I understand that she feel that she have to be a little bit more aggressive than not, but not to the point where you are doing it in front of people, because now you're bullying the adults too, because you're coming in so aggressive. We're not even able, well, they weren't even able to have a talk with you, and you're just doing all of that and saying what you want towards your child, that is your child, but that's not your building, and that's where the whole thing unravels, because yes, you're disciplining them, but you're disciplining them in someone else's environment. And that's why the people remove the kids from the house, because it's like, if you don't care about how you're treating them in other people's environment, what else you're doing at your house? And that's why they had to go remove those kids out of the house. And I probably would have wanted them removed as well, because if you are bold enough to come and tear him up and cuss him out and call him the N-word and say X, Y, and Z in front of all of those different types of people, then imagine what's happening at the house. So I do believe in discipline. I do believe there's levels to discipline, and I was raised a certain way to discipline a certain way, but there's also life after discipline. And you still want your child to live a healthy life and a respectful life and a respected life, because they're still going to want to be respected by their teachers and respected by their peers and stuff like that, and not always remember those moments of when they were embarrassed. And we are part of this embarrassed culture where we want to make an example out of some student or your child, or make an example so that they can remember not to do X, Y, and Z. But to be honest with you, it makes it worse. That's the whole sad part about it. It makes it worse. Look at those kids in our families who receive the most whippings, and that's what I do. I look at the kids who was always getting in whippings when we were young, and look at how they turned out as an adult. I don't know about y'all family. I don't know too much. I can only think of maybe 2 or 3 in my family, because I wasn't around, everybody once they was getting their whippings. But I can say those who were out of control, or they would call, oh, look what his bad self, look at his bad self, or doing something, or getting their parents called at home or whatever, it bled into adulthood probably. So I think that as the teacher, I don't even know who recorded that. That's this recording culture. Those people who record such crazy stuff like this, I don't know what's wrong with you guys. I don't know what's wrong with people who record stuff like that. I don't understand. Like, you just have your camera out and watch abuse. It is crazy to me. It's crazy to me. I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't want a part of it. I don't want no parts of it. I don't want to record people getting beat. I don't want to record. Even if I'm calling home to a parent, I want them to really have a sit down talk with their kid or whatever. Tell them the pros and cons. Show them some scary videos about, kids who do not listen, and this is the result of their life, and give them examples, take them out more, do something to enrich their mind on why what they're doing, as opposed to beating it out of them. Because guess what, you're gonna beat more behavior into them, because they're gonna feel like, okay, this is the amount of negative consequence that I can receive. This is the most they can do to me without killing. So it kind of set the bar at there, and they think outside of this whipping, the next thing would be kill me, right? So where is this? What's all this? And when do all of this stop for people? The talking, the bringing them to the pastor, or the bringing them to your grandma, to they scary uncle, or to this, like all of those options gone. All those options gone. Taking them to to Scared Straight or to the alternative school, or talk to some type of leader in the thing, or get them a mentor or a coach. Like where's all that before this and killing? Like where's all that? That's my question. I don't know. Well, it may sound like a ramble to some, but it's not to me. I really do believe that there's a lot going on in our culture, but there's a fine line that that can be crossed at any time. The biggest thing is, once you are administering physical discipline, you have to understand that there are laws only in particular places, and people are able to administer corporal punishment to their kids in most of all these southern states, and this was in Texas. So it's not like what she did was against the law. Where she did it, how, and like I said, the line was crossed for someone, and they reported her, and they took those kids out. So everyone, let's love a little more. Find other ways to discipline that's effective, that will help, and let's do better. We don't want to raise kids to be ravenous animals, and I know it's scary. We don't want them disrespecting adults, and we don't want them threatening people. We don't want them to end up on the news or in jail or stealing or robbing. We don't want that. I don't want it for none of your kids, and I definitely don't want it for my child. The biggest thing is, what else can we do? That's the question. Leave your comments below. I'll talk to you soon.